Yes. So today we're going to do a little bit of training on data entry, how to do it, why it's important, some of the common problems that we've been seeing. So, the agenda, what do we enter in the data entry? Where do we enter it? Why it's important. You get points for entering data, and you get energy reduction points for entering in the right data when our system can read it and calculate it. It calculates environmental impacts for each business and for the competition as a whole, and it averts mental breakdowns on our end, which is very important. So, just a brief site overview. This is what your profile screen will look like. This is what a part of it looks like. So here we see a building. Here's the title of the building right there. We clicked on the data entry tab right here, and this is a screen that shows up. The important part is this section right here. So we see month, day, year, electric, gas, water, trash, that sort of thing. We also see these question bubbles. If at any time you have a quick question, click on the question bubble there, and this is what will pop up. It's a little help section, a little help screen that tells you about what to enter, where to look to enter, the right information, that sort of thing. So if you have any other questions, really quick, this is where you can contact me or us, and we'll be happy to work with you one-on-one, answer any questions. Like Lemi said, we'll also be here at the end of this presentation to help you guys. So, how do we enter the data? Here's our friendly data entry screen again. Right there where it says electric or gas or water, we're going to enter in our energy consumed. So that's in kilowatt hours or CCF. Pretty easy so far. On the left-hand side is the troublemaker. That's the problem we're having. This is the end of the service date. So every energy bill you have comes from, it started on one date and it ends on another date. So this is the date the meter was read. It's not the date that it was billed, it's not the date that it was filed in your system, and it's not arbitrarily the 1st or the 31st. So where do we find the proper dates on the bill? This is what we're looking for. On the left-hand side, you see a version of an electric bill. It says billing period. There's a from and a to. We want the to, or the end service date. This is the date that the meter was read. And the same thing on the natural gas, service period to. So if your bill has anywhere it says service to or service end, that's the date that we are looking for. So why it's important. You get energy points are awarded for entering data into the competition. That's 5 points for every item you enter in. So that's electric, natural gas, trash, water. Each one of those gets you 5 points per data entry. Also, when our system can calculate a EUI and energy reduction from the information you've given us, you get 100 points per percentage point of energy reduction. So, just briefly, what is an EUI? EUI is not something everybody understands. It stands for Energy Use Intensity. In general, it's how much energy you use over the course of a 12-month period divided by the size of your facility. Easy. So energy use intensity is just annual energy usage divided by square footage. The 12-month period moves forward 1 month at a time and allows us to see the changes in your energy as the competition moves along. Now, on the technical side, we use this to compare it with a baseline EUI. So we take these numbers that we have and we run them through Energy Star, which takes out the effects of weather and allows us to look at one data set, compare it to the next, and we can see how much energy you are saving as compared to the baseline year. So the baseline for this competition is from August 2014 to August 2015. So some people have asked us, why aren't we saving more energy? Well, maybe it's because they had a really high baseline in 2013 or 2012. But we are comparing to 2014 to August 2015. So, louder, okay, sorry. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, all right. Yes.
Do you acquire this baseline EUI or do we put it in?
So the question is, do we acquire the baseline or do they put it in? We get the baseline information from DP&L and from Vectren. And they've been helping us out a lot with that, and that's been wonderful. In the rare cases that we can't find your information in a system due to any number of things, then we will ask you specifically to provide us with 12 months of data. Does that make sense? So if anyone's received an email like that, please get back to us. We'd love to have you in the competition.
I have a question.
Yes.
On the end of service date, at our building, we have multiple meters.
Ah.
They all have different end of service dates.
Okay, which
CompuNet,
CompuNet? Okay. So you guys have an Energy Star portfolio manager account that you manage yourselves, or are we managing that? Do you know
I
offhand?
think you're.
I think we're managing.
We're managing that?
I think so.
Okay, we can talk to you at the end. If there's a master meter, or if there's a way that you've been summing all the meters together, we can talk about that
Okay,
at the end. Is that okay?
yeah,
Sorry, it's just a little more complex.
that's fine.
Kirk?
Thomas, can I say something? I'm the representative from Vectren. If you want your energy data from me, I can give it to you if I have the exact account number or the exact name and address that's on the Vectren bill. The problem becomes, there are names that are not on, your names are not always the same name that is on your bill. And the address isn't always the same address that's on your bill. I need what's on the bill because that's what's in our system. And I've had issues trying to find accounts for this baseline because things don't match up. And if they don't match, I can't provide the information. So if you have a Vectren bill and you need information, the best thing to do would be to email or fax me directly a copy of your bill. And that way I know exactly what's on it.
Yes.
Follow up on that, if you do have multiple bills and perhaps multiple addresses,
Yes.
should you enter multiple data sheets or?
So if you have
consolidate
multiple,
them, or what?
if you have multiple, the question is if you have multiple meters or multiple buildings, how do you enter that into the competition?
I'm talking just one building,
One building, okay. So, is there more than one meter on your one building?
yes,
Okay. Do you know how that's split up?
yes,
Okay, then we can talk to you at the end of that, at the end of the presentation.
okay.
Those get a little bit trickier, but we can certainly try to work with you on that. Okay, so, okay, yes.
How critical is your dates for your baseline?
The dates for the,
The reason I ask is, I work with the City of Dayton Water Department. We have data going back that we've entered, 10 years, for 10 years, except we lag anywhere from 3 to 6 months of getting that current. So, we got a few other issues, but, so we're struggling to get it current on the Green website. Can we substitute the previous year as our baseline?
so the question is about baselines. So we actually have the baseline data for the City of Dayton Water Department. I'm almost certain, and we got that from DPNL because that was from 2014 to August of 2015. I think we have all of your information in.
There's some buildings that
Are there
don't
some
have a
buildings?
baseline.
Okay,
Yeah,
there might be
there's-
some buildings that we don't have a baseline with. And we can't, it wouldn't be fair to everyone else if we substituted for a different year. And the reason is because some people they've just recently taken energy practices on or something like that. We want to make sure that everyone has the same baseline to be compared by. But that is a good question, thank you. Any other questions before I continue? Good, okay. So, second reason number 2, for the importance of proper data entry is environmental impact. So if that's something that you care about, we have information for you in spades. Each business can look at its environmental impact. So this is just a rough overview, how many kilowatt hours you've used, what that equates to in greenhouse gases. And so you see, so this is our homepage. We've clicked on the impact tab here. We can click on energy, water, and waste. And there will be different sustainability and environmental impacts that your business is having on the environment for each individual business. Also, we're calculating competition-wide, i.e. region-wide environmental impact of this competition. And your energy data is used in these calculations. So this helps us accurately evaluate what the impact of this competition is for future projects, maybe doing the competition again, things like that. The impact is calculated dynamically. So with every new data point, it gets updated. And the page will be live to the public here pretty soon. So this is a preview of what it looks like. It shows how many million tons of CO2 we've saved, how many thousands of dollars we've saved estimated from natural gas and electricity, and what that equates to in trees and cars off the road, that sort of thing. So, third reason, and is maybe not the most important, but it feels the most important every day to me, is averting mental breakdowns. So why would incorrect dates cause mental breakdowns? This is something that people are always very curious about. Basically, it's because of Energy Star Portfolio Manager. Brilliant system that it is. So here's how the system works in general. DPN on Vectron kindly gave us the baseline data for 2014 to 2015. We enter that into Bring Your Green, and we at Bring Your Green take that over to Energy Star, so we can run some nationally recognized, you can use their nationally recognized calculation engine and get very reliable statistics back. Then we take that information back from Energy Star. So we give something forward and then we take it back. Every month, you give us data, then we take that to Energy Star, do the exact same thing, and we take the result back onto our systems. So what happens, this is just a scenario, random scenario. For January, someone has used 300 kilowatt hours. And that's electrical energy there. The expected meter read date is around January 17th, give or take a couple days. It's not a big deal. However, for one reason or other, you enter in that those 300 kilowatt hours were read into our system on February 1st. Doesn't seem like a big deal, right? It's the first of the new month. It's good to go. Problem is, the Bring Your Green system has some safety checks, and the Energy Star system takes a look at that and says 300 kilowatt hours. Now, was that used over 1.5 months? Does that mean the next month is going to happen on March 1st? Does that mean that we're going to get another meter reading on March 17th? What's going to happen? And if we were to just let Energy Star do its thing, it's meant to be flexible, and it will give us the wrong scores. It'll give us the wrong EUIs, and it'll make us all wonder about what's going on in the future. Points weird, and people being first that shouldn't be in first, and all sorts of terrible things will happen. The systems explode, and that leads everybody to wonder. And the result is nobody gets any points. That's what happens when you enter in the wrong dates. So let's go to situation 2. Somehow, from some sneaky fashion, one way or the other, you were able to sneak in that 300 kilowatt hours on the wrong date. Well, at the end of the quarterly checks that the HEPE engineering folks and the Bring Your Green, we do, we take a look at that and we wonder the exact same thing. Because now we're looking at someone who was in first maybe for a couple months and we don't really understand why. And we see some problems and we wonder, what did we do wrong? We explode and your points get revoked. This is essentially what happens.
And we've done that.
We have done that.
We've
We
done
actually
that.
just did that yesterday. We didn't explode, but the points got revoked.
Yeah.
So we're still around. So how do we fix this? Here's our handy dandy, lovely data entry screen. There's our bill. There's our electric bill right there. We see our billing period or service period 2. We're going to put that right in there. The result is that everybody's happy. You get your points. You're in the right spot. Everyone else is in the right spot. We all get to go home. It's a wonderful thing. So, are there any questions so far? Yes.
You're going to explain if you have 2 meters for the same building, what we do in that case.
Yes, in that case, we can, so, in general, there are some buildings that do have 2 meters for the same building. They've entered into our competition as one building. Now, if those 2 meters account for all of the energy data, all of the energy consumption for that one building, you can sum those amounts together, and hopefully they're read on the same dates.
Well, yeah, but that's my question.
If they're not, it should be acceptable for you to enter in the most recent date, so the oldest. Does that make sense?
The first reading or the second reading?
The most recent to now. So the
So
second
it'd be
one.
the second reading of
Yeah.
the,
And that will do fine. The most important thing for our system and for the Energy Star system is the consistency of the data. So we've gotten the baseline data from DP&L and Vectron, and on certain cases where I was aware of beforehand that there was multiple meters, I just summed all that data and used the oldest meter reading date. So if you do that, we'll be good to go. And I can also make a note on our system so that I can check and make sure that we've done everything.
We're gonna need to talk to somebody.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
because one of the questions we also have is, and maybe we just misunderstood, because everybody's talking about Energy Star. We enter our data into Energy Star.
Right.
And then
Okay.
do you pull it out? Or do
No,
you-
we
you
enter
need
ours
it-
into Energy
I'm sorry,
Stewards.
we enter it into a program that then enters it into
Okay.
Energy Star. And I think you have access to our Energy Star account.
We do, and actually we do have their information.
Oh,
Because I looked it up this morning, so we
Okay.
have their AUI calculated.
Good.
So you're entering it
So
in,
we're-
and we're pulling it into our system and it's working fine.
Great.
The only thing is you don't get points because you're not entering the data into our system, but that's not a big deal. We are getting your information.
Okay.
And you will get your reduction points.
Okay, but we
Yes.
don't get the entering points.
Yes,
unless
the
we-
5 points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to still talk about dates.
Okay.
We'll talk, but that's.
We can
do that.
So
At
Yeah.
least we know that you're seeing our data.
We're seeing it.
Yes.
We're seeing it.
So-
So is that the same for Rick, for instance? So he will sum all the meters and take the oldest reading
Yeah, if
every
it,
month?
essentially, that's the most simplified.
Yeah.
Kirk?
I'd like to make a suggestion on that, always use the same meter. Just.
Oh,
sum
yes,
to the
absolutely.
same meter
That's a good
every
point.
month, and you'll be okay.
So that was Kirk suggesting that if you do have to sum multiple meters, this is for the recording, sorry, not just schizophrenic. So if you do have to sum meters, use the same meter every time. So if you use the oldest date, use that meter's date every single time. So that's the most general, simplified answer I can give without doing a one-on-one consultation.
Does it make sense, Rick?
You're saying if you have different end dates,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah. Use the
Fortunately,
oldest
ours are all
one.
the same, but,
Perfect,
Oh,
that's
good,
even
then
better.
You're good. You just
Yeah.
sum them up and put them in the contest.
okay.
And
should be
we'll
good.
take it for you and put it in Portfolio Manager. Now, what about, we'd have to put in the meter number, right, in Portfolio Manager? Does it make a difference to us?
We only have to put in the date
So we're
and the
good?
amount, yeah.
Okay.
We don't need a meter ID or anything like
Okay.
that. It's not required. Any other questions before we do a little one-on-one?
The improvement aspect of this,
Yes.
using our building as an example, we've
Mhm.
done improvements probably 2011, 2012,
Yes.
something like that. And if I were to compare 2011 to 2016,
Mhm.
we show some good, good improvement.
Yes, absolutely.
If I go back to 2014, not so much.
Yes.
Is that an issue, or should?
No, that's not an issue. So the question is with different baseline periods and people having been instituting energy saving practices in 2011, 2012, and whether that affects the competition. So the answer is, because everyone shares the same baseline, that's just kind of a fundamental, what do I want to say, constant in the competition. So everyone is compared at the 2014 level. So if you've made improvements and things have been going really well, it doesn't hurt our system. The only thing that happens is that maybe some of those energy reduction, you won't see as great of an energy reduction.
We
Say,
didn't get as many
yeah,
people.
so essentially you're starting out at a more efficient level
Yeah.
than some people. And so,
Or you can call.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
okay.
you do, there's a line item where you get points at the end of the contest for evaluating your EUI compared to the rest in the contest. So if
Yeah.
you're good, compared to the other businesses, you will get 100 points right then and there.
Okay.
Yeah, so
On
if,
like a unit square foot basis or something?
yes, so
Right.
if you are energy efficient, you don't get completely penalized throughout the entire competition. If you've maintained a really good energy efficiency, we will award you with points at the end of the competition. Any other questions? Okay, we will put this PowerPoint up online and the recording, and so you can review it. My contact information is on there. Our contact information is on there. And please, this is what we do for a living right now, so feel free to use any and all of our services that you can. And with that, we will begin the one-on-one. Thank you very much.